get things started. Ready? Go!
Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics. Today I got a story about Shang-Chi actor Simu Liu claiming media narratives are polarizing us after he previously advocated for dismantling police. Before we get to that, I'd like to ask if you could please hit that subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. If you are already subscribed, please make sure you are still subscribed. YouTube does like to unsubscribe people for whatever reason. And then hopefully you'll also share this video with your friends and family. So let's get to the story. Shang-Chi actor Simu Liu recently responded to reports that the film will more than likely not release in China following resurfaced comments of him criticizing the communist rule of China. If you recall, a Chinese organization called DIBA posted screenshots from a CBC interview of Liu that was published back in 2017. In those screenshots, Liu discusses that his family who came from China lived in the third world. He also noted that in China, quote, you have people dying of starvation. Following these comments getting resurfaced, Deadline's Nancy Tartaglione reported, quote, the prospects for Disney Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings getting a China release date are dwindling. The Shang-Chi film was already on rocky ground when it came to a release in China, as a report from May by Variety's Rebecca Davis noted the film had been omitted from a list for the upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 4 films. Davis explained why the omission was significant. She said, the omission might seem small, but its significance lies in its provenance. The channel is under the jurisdiction of China's powerful propaganda department, which has the final word on film approvals. The insinuation there that if they are not going to include it on an upcoming list of Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 4 films, they more than likely aren't going to release the film, approve the film to be released in China. Not only was the film unlikely to get a release back in May, but CNBC reported at the beginning of September, before Liu's comments were resurfaced, that Shang-Chi, quote, is the first Marvel movie that has not been approved by the Chinese government for distribution in the country. The reason for Shang-Chi reportedly not getting a release in China is the depiction of the character's villain, Wenwu, played by Tony Leung. CNBC reports, quote, the comic books on which the film is based has been considered racist and filled with reductive stereotypes. Wenwu is a mashup of Marvel villains the Mandarin and Fu Manchu. Simu Liu has responded to these reports that the film might not get a release in China via an Instagram story post. Captured by Twitter user Spoiler Pleaser, Liu wrote, what Western news often fails to report on is the absolute groundswell of support that we've received from all parts of the world, including people from China. All around us, media narratives are polarizing us and turning us against each other, but I have seen the kindness and the empathy that all people possess, and I know that we have fans from all over the world who cannot wait to watch our movie and make history with us. Whether you seek positivity or toxicity on social media, you will find it. Liu concluded saying, thanks to all Marvel fans in China and all around the world, we love you. While Liu is right in his assertion that media narratives are polarizing people in the United States, the actor has engaged in participating in them, and in my opinion, making that polarization even worse. Back in June 2020, Liu joined the wave of activists and celebrities calling for the defunding and dismantling of police. He tweeted, over the last few days, I went from empathetic and sad to just plain angry. Defunded, and make way for a new system that doesn't prey on the lives of the underprivileged. He then claimed the structure of the United States is based on systemic racism. First, he shared a DM conversation with his parents where he wrote, quote, super proud of my parents for watching the YouTube video I sent about systemic racism and also proactively educating themselves. Liu then shared the video, which is a 4.5-minute video from act.tv, titled Systemic Racism Explained. The byline for the video reads, systemic racism affects every area of life in the US. Then, in a now deleted tweet, Liu went so far as to want officers disciplined for just smirking. He tweeted, the bar is set too goddamn low. Officers should be disciplined for the slightest abuse of force and power. They should be disciplined for every punch, kick, swing of a baton, or smirk that was not absolutely necessary. He finished up the tweet writing, a system that condones all of this is broken. Liu then proceeded to double down on his stance about completely changing the criminal justice system by comparing it to Spider-Man. He wrote, just remember we had to reboot Spider-Man a few times to get Tom Holland. We can reboot the criminal justice system too. Liu also tweeted, what will we replace the police with? Social workers, crisis staff trained in de-escalation, women's shelters, counselors, Planned Parenthood therapists, safe injection sites, rehab, community outreach, night classes, affordable healthcare, hashtag imagine something different. Not only did Liu engage in the extremely polarizing media narrative of defunding the police, he also engaged in Marvel Studios' combative marketing for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings by claiming that there were no Asian characters that were aspirational before the film. He told Total Film, "It's a beautiful and exciting new origin story for this character that a lot of the world hasn't heard of before. And it means that kids growing up today will have what I didn't, which are characters that are aspirational that also reflect their lived experience." The absurdity of this comment is too obvious. The film is literally an adaptation of Marvel's Shang-Chi character. The character first appeared in Marvel Comics' Special Marvel Edition number 15 back in 1973, but kids never had aspirational characters apparently. Talk about a media narrative meant to polarize people. He would double down on this combative marketing strategy by claiming he thought the pinnacle for actors that looked like him was being, quote, a guy that gets beaten up by one of the main characters. This statement is also complete and total hogwash, as there are numerous Asian characters that weren't merely the, quote, guy that gets beaten up by one of the main characters. One can look back to the 1970s again to see that. Bruce Lee starred in Enter the Dragon in 1973, where he was doing the beating up. So it's pretty clear Liu's recent comments are first off hypocritical, but not only are they hypocritical, they are a complete and utter virtue signal. And dare I say, they are part of a media narrative from Disney to try and get the film into China. That's my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you think of Liu's recent comments. My name is John Trent, and you're watching Bounding into Comics.